invitation. Sitting on the throne alone here, I'm your man, Hank Russell. This evening, I cannot be more stoked about this one. I have been following this sport pretty much since its inception in 2022. I've been covering combat sports for nearly 20 years, and I never thought in my wildest dreams I would be interviewing a champion of this. Ladies and gentlemen, he just had a recent victory less than 2 weeks ago by KO in the 4th round. He needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, oh my goodness, the power slap champion in the welterweight division, my man, Mr. Anthony Babyface Blackburn. What's up, man?
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on, and appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on. Oh my goodness, man. Like, first, I mean, I got to address the elephant in my room. When you knocked him out in the 4th round, does it give you satisfaction that his chin hit? I know he's your friend, but did the satisfaction get hitting the table before he hit the ground?
I mean, for me, it's kind of something that I had been saying for months and months since I had accepted the match and signed the contract. You know, I'd seen him. He does his zombie mode thing, and he wakes up right away. I said, man, if I really wear him down and I can connect on one real good, I don't think zombie mode's going to happen. And he's going straight down and hitting his chin. And I don't know if you've seen the beginning of the match, but I X the table, X marks the spot with the chalk, and it just everything panned out perfect. You couldn't write it up any better.
You know what? I didn't notice that, actually. Thank you for pointing that out. I just rewatched it yesterday morning in preparation for this, and I did not notice that. I gotta look closer. I'm telling you.
Yeah, you go back in round 1. I walk up there and X the table right in front of him, and 4th round we bit the dust.
Oh my goodness! Hey man, look. I mean, they said on camera he's your friend, right?
Oh, 100%. He's a great competitor, and one of the best ambassadors of the sport that we have. Represents Mexico and San Diego, super well. He had a huge following, especially in the crowd. You look in the crowd, and that's who I was kind of talking at the whole time during the match, because there was like 50, 60 Azael heads in the crowd back there. Sorry about the alarm.
Oh, no, you're good, man. You're good. Let me ask you something. They mentioned that you had an 18-inch neck now. Was it previously smaller in your last bout?
Yeah, I want to say I definitely, especially since I started this, I've been at it for 2.5 years, almost 3 years now. My neck's definitely grown. I would say a couple inches at least.
Yeah, I'm with you. I know that just comes with natural training and stuff like that, just like a bodybuilder, so to speak. But
yeah, for sure, and just the strength difference for sure is it's really increased. So I'm pretty stoked about it, and I love showing it off. That's one of the biggest parts of this game. This power slap game is, can you take a shot? And that neck is very, very important in this game.
Right. And I was sitting, and I watched it from beginning to end, obviously. And my thing is that the commentator was correct, or the sideline reporter, I think it was, or that said afterwards that you seem to get more dominant with every slap. My thing is that when you get slapped and there's nerves involved, you would think it would weaken you, but it didn't. Is that something that's common, or am I incorrect about that assumption?
No, it really, that first slap, it's usually a surprising one. Every match, it usually either wakes you up, or, it surprises you, and you might stumble a little bit or get knocked back. But if you watch, that was one of the ones he missed, and he hit kind of with his fingers, and it wasn't really a good connection. So you can't really count that as a good slap as far as gauging his power. You know what I'm saying? So I was still ready to be surprised and take on a full strike in the 2nd round.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. One of the things about the sport, it's still relatively new. I mean, it's not even 5 years old yet, at least not on a mainstream level, so to speak. My thing is that a lot of people don't understand like the rules as far as like the clubbing specifically. Like, what is for my viewers and my followers, what is clubbing?
Clubbing would be anything that a slap that is either outside of the zone. It could be off count. Like say I'm gonna right on 3 and you hit on 2 on your second measure, and
Right.
sometimes the nerves get to you if you're rocked. That's happened against me before. I've been hit off count, and that could be, it's a striker foul clubbing. You could hit the neck. There's also an area that's kind of on the cheek and the jawline. You can't really go underneath it. You want to have your whole hand kind of palm and fingers and has to land all at the same time. So if you're landing with your palm first and you're making like a thud noise,
okay,
that's classified as clubbing. Or if you're throwing like a push, not like a slap, right? They kind of have a rules meeting every time, and stuff kind of changes with the events because everything has to progress, So it's a little weird area.
So you can hit him with the palm. You just can't hit him, but you can't hit him first with the palm, basically.
Correct, and it can't be too deep on the jawline. It has to be, up by the mouth, pretty much.
Okay, because before I did this interview and I promoted this interview, that was my number one question was like, what is considered clubbing? And I pretty much knew because Bisbing is pretty good when in the commentary explaining it, but everybody else is just, still kind of puzzled, like what is clubbing, and I get it. I mean, it's a relatively new sport, there's everybody is trying to figure it out, but people love it. It's got 6.5 million or followers on Instagram. So this is a tremendous sport in my opinion.
And there's still the aspect of human error. They're still just regular people at the end of the day trying to be up there in the heat of the moment on live broadcast, trying to do the 100% right call every single time. And I'm sure they got some nerves, and they're going to get better as time goes on too with us.
I can't imagine, I mean, I competed competed a long time ago, but I still can't imagine, like something where you have to be so precise, you have to be precise with that. You get one shot per round and you have to be on point from what it looks like. And so nerves is understandable. It really is.
It's just, it's funny because everybody that competed at the last event, they had either their first match, or if they were on the prelims, they might have had a couple matches before. But for me, I still had a little bit of nerves walking out. It's still fresh every time. I'm getting used to it, and I'm getting a little bit better each and every time. But still, there's a little bit of, man, is this going to be the time where I really get tested, or is it not going to be? There's always that question in the back of your head.
Right. And you've had 7 pro bouts, right? Or 6?
7, yeah.
7. I know you had one draw. I know you got a draw. So I couldn't remember if it was 6 victories and 1 draw, but so let me ask you something though. I mean, I know it's a generic ass question, but how would one get into this sport? I mean, I've been covering sports for a long time. I can't find like this local or minor league thing. How did you get into it exactly?
My story is, one that I've really been liking to share and getting better and better each time I tell it. Cause, I signed up off of Facebook. I was scrolling one morning on a Saturday, just laying in my bed on Facebook, and it was a Facebook ad, and it popped up when I'm scrolling. It called me out. You think you got what it takes? Sign up here for POWERSLAP. And I had seen the videos on, reels and stuff. I'm like, man, I was always, every time I watch those videos, I'm like, man, I could probably do that.
Yeah.
So I signed up, when I had the opportunity. I signed up not thinking they were going to call me, but I bragged about it, made a post about it. What are you guys doing today? I signed up for POWERSLAP, not thinking they're going to call ever.
Exactly. And where are you from?
Michigan.
Okay. Yeah. So, and obviously your fights have taken you to, Vegas every time, and now you're coaching in New Orleans. So very interesting how it takes you all the way from the state of Michigan all the way down to Vegas within like what was it, like 3 years ago, or was it 2 years ago?
So yeah, like 2.5 years ago is when I had my first match in March. So ever since then, it's been trips to Vegas. They've gone overseas to Dubai and Saudi. So I'm looking to. I already got my passport ready. I'm looking to go overseas if they need me to. That'll be cool.
Yeah, I won't ask you when you're fighting again, because that's kind of a little bit pressing, considering the fact you just defended your title 2 weekends ago. But
yeah, I wish I knew.
Yeah, but no, man. So what about for somebody like you? Is weight cutting a difficult process for you?
For me, no. I kind of walk around as one of the smaller welterweights. I could walk around at 85 maximum, probably. That's really not watching my diet and doing whatever I want. I can get up there to 190.
Right.
Well, for me, I just got to hunker down.
Yeah. Well, I was watching like Wolverine, and Wolverine is 205 champ, and he doesn't look like he has to cut weight, and neither did like a handful of other competitors I saw on there. So I'm thinking, is that a factor, of cutting weight? Do you think it could reduce strength? Is that a problem?
I think it definitely plays a factor in, well, one, your brain is the first organ that loses water when you're dehydrated. That's how, you get a headache when you're hungover or whatnot. So when you're cutting weight in the sauna, that's losing water out of your head right away. That's your cushion in your brain, You need that to survive in this sport, because that's what you're trying to mitigate, is that jiggle of your brain to turn your lights off. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, no,
that's detrimental. If you're losing a bunch of water fight week, it's not good, I don't think.
No, I get it. And, that's a big one. That's why it's probably better to eat your carbs that day, and, probably maybe not sugar, so to speak, but like have some bread and stuff like that, so that your brain is circulating with the carbs that you need and stuff like that. So I understand that.
Oh yeah, you got to have the energy.
Yeah. So are you, like, your face naturally swelled up very easily compared to the other competitors? Is that just kind of a trait, or did he just hit that hard?
Oh, he hits hard, definitely. He got my cheek real good, the inside of my mouth, like up here in my gums. It was all cut up from my mouthpiece,
Yeah.
Had a bruise for a few days. Like, it's still a little bit sore. It definitely, I think the baby face gimmick gets me too, because I shaved my face. I think having a little bit of a beard, if I could grow one, would help me out.
No, you know what? That's a good nickname though, man. That's a great nickname. I'm thinking,
yeah,
why not? Why not? And you're relatively young anyway, so it's okay. You don't look like you're 34 years old.
Yeah, I'm trying.
There you go. So is there a significant other in your life?
I just recently got a girlfriend. She's a Vegas local. Yeah, I met her out there, and it's been going good lately. I'm super happy.
That's good. That's awesome. Hey, look, that's one of my goals, is to go see POWERSLAP, but I don't care where I go see it. Like I said, I was telling you off camera, I'm going to try to go see it, but going out to Vegas though, I know that was probably like a looser, relaxed place to meet somebody too.
It was nice. It was really unexpected, but sometimes that's how the best things happen. So
right.
I'm pumped.
Oh yeah. So you're cornering somebody this next fight, is that, or this next pay-per-view or event, should I say?
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm the blue corner coach for the day, so I'm excited. We'll probably do the whole pre-recorded card and then the main live one. I'm really pumped for the experience.
Wait a second. You're the guy that holds people when they fall?
Not a catcher. No. The guy that wipes your face of chalk after you get slapped, and the guy that's telling you, stay down, wait till the 8, and really strategic in the corner.
Are you representing guys you already know?
Yeah. It's all strikers on the roster.
Okay. I didn't know, because I thought that it was kind of like a caddy or something like that. Where you were just randomly given to like Happy Gilmore or something like that, just some random caddy.
Yeah. No, not really like that, but it's it's somewhat along them lines. You're the caddy for everyone that walks out for the blue corner.
Okay. Because I don't know, I forget his name, but the guy that was in the red corner, if I'm not mistaken, he was kind of a huskier guy with a shaved head, but he competes a lot, and he was in almost everybody's corner that night. I forget his name, but you would know who I'm talking about if I saw him.
Isaiah.
That might be it. But I just noticed that he was in everybody's corner that night, and when you said that, I was like, wait a second, is it like being a caddy? I don't know.
No, it's like being it's a corner man. You just help them with strategy and stuff while they're rocked.
Right. Well, I was, the reason why I was asking you is that I was shocked to see Forrest Griffin as a catcher. And I was like, wait a second. The guy who changed and elevated the UFC where there would probably be no power slap if it was for this guy. And he's doing something like almost like a shepherd's type work of catching guys as they fall down. Meanwhile, he should probably be sitting in the audience being revered for who he is, but he's putting in the work.
Yeah, you can't be mad at it. Having a star like Forrest, a legend of the UFC, and someone that actually really puts an effort in. He's not up there because he doesn't, he's not Forrest. He definitely wants to be up there and help us not get hurt.
I know it. I've met quite a few of the legends over the years. He's one I always wanted to talk to as well, but he's so busy. He actually works for the UFC, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's really cool though. He's awesome.
Yeah, I was telling you off camera. I said, I love this sport. Power slap. I would love to do something with it, but hopefully, like I said, I'm going to try to come down there. I'm going to try to come down there in 2 weeks. It's just, I'm just a regular guy who's been covering sports for, for a long time, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm telling you. Hopefully they haven't sold out tickets yet. That's what I'm worried about.
When they go online too, they're going fast nowadays because people are buying them to resell them when they're coming close to the event. They're selling them for over $1,000 now. I'm like, oh geez. So it's getting popular.
With all due respect, bump that. I'm not paying $1,000 for that.
No, exactly.
If I got Dana White's money, then maybe. But no, man. So, when you like, all right, how do I say this nicely? You don't look like a bodybuilder, but you look like cockstrong. Am I correct about this?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
Okay. I know that I was trying to say that the nicest way possible because, like I'm assuming you do like some sort of weight training and stuff like that.
Yeah. My coach has me doing different programs in between camps and stuff like that. I'm usually doing some sort of strength training when I can.
The reason why I was asking is because I remember watching a fighter many years ago called Scott Hansa Stone Smith. You might have seen his fight with Drago. They play it all the time on like replays. And he intentionally put a waistline on him for one of his fights because he was able to, to pivot more as opposed to having these like tight 6-pack abs or something like that. And he had a tremendous amount of power because of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just thinking about that. I was like, okay, you look like you're in shape. You're just not trying to be Mr. Universe, so to speak.
Yeah, 100%. I try to work on my looks a little bit here and there. I'm not trying to be a bump on the log, that's for sure. But as far as my training for Power Slap goes, I really focus a lot of my attention on flexibility more than I do looking like a bodybuilder. And then my coach does that all the time. He says, dude, you're not a bodybuilder. You don't need to be looking like you have a 6-pack. I promise you're just going for power here.
Yeah.
And he's smart about it. He knows.
No, absolutely. And that's what and that's why I commented about that. I mean, you see these like power lifters, none of them have a 6-pack, they're all, it's all about mobility and strength.
Oh, they definitely have 6-packs. They're just a little layer over it.
I call it fluff. Hey, if anybody ever makes a comment, just say I got fluff on top of the buff, baby.
There you go, fluff on top of the buff. I like that.
That's it, fluff on top of the buff. That's what I tell people. That's what I tell people about me all the time. I mean, I haven't been in shape in almost a decade, and I still tell them that.
Awesome.
So are you back home?
Yeah, we're back home in Taylor, Michigan. I went up to my brothers in Farwell for the 4th. Saw my mom, saw my niece and nephew, saw my grandma. It was an awesome weekend.
Yeah. So what do you do for a living when you're not doing Power Slap?
I'm doing this right now. I was doing some sprinkler fitting work. I worked at the warehouse and put orders together and delivered pipe to job sites, and they did fire suppression work.
Oh, so you're okay. So,
Did some pizza making for some years down in Charleston and in Michigan, and worked in the restaurant industry a bunch. Okay. That's been my main thing.
So you're able to do this full time now. That's great.
Yeah, fortunately, it's afforded me some freedom, and it's really nice, and it's something I strive to keep on working towards, so I can gain more freedom and be able to help people in my life.
Sure, and as long as you're able to be wise with your money too, you don't have to buy you don't have to be some sort of baller. I've always told these. I mean, I've interviewed guys for years, and I've seen about 2 or 3 of them where they have made it, and then all of a sudden they buy like a car that is way out of their price range or just not necessary. I'm like, no, I'm good. Just give me a truck at most. Give me a truck, or I'll take a Honda Civic. I don't care anything but something that's costs more than like almost as much as like a house note.
Yeah, we ain't doing that. I'm gonna definitely be smart if that ever happens. I'm not trying to blow everything on a little wants. I'd rather do the needs, necessities.
Exactly. So I like the belt. I mean, is it how much do you think that thing weighs?
Oh, dude, this thing it's like having a child on one arm. It's 10 pounds.
No kidding.
Oh yeah. Okay. So when you're out in the public and you're walking around, it takes up you're incapacitated unless you strap it around your waist. But if you do that right now, you're dying because it's so hot. It's kind of rough.
Right. The leather makes you sweat and stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I get it. Have you, how's the sponsorship going these days?
Oh, we're working on a few. We'll see here coming New Orleans. The team's going to be out there, so I'm sure we'll be in talks when we have team meeting and stuff. That'll be pretty cool. I'm excited.
Yeah. What excites me about talking to guys like you and is that you're pretty much like the Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz, George St. Pierre, all these guys that came first, or at least were in the early days, so to speak. You're not quite Horace Gracie, but you're not, but you're more in the Chuck Liddell era. It's like you're the guys that pioneered it. You're the ones that elevated it. You're the ones that made it popular, sort of thing. And
yeah, it's the first legends, people that are in the Hall of Fame and that are known worldwide by millions and millions of people that, they established this crazy sport now that everybody watches. The UFC's grown so big. It's crazy to think POWERSLAP could be on that kind of rise. It's really cool to see.
No, I get it. I mean, it will only get better, and I don't want to discourage you, but depending on how long you do it, it'll probably keep peaking by the time you retire from doing it.
That's what I'm thinking. You're and I'm trying to take this responsibility on as hard as I can. It's right. Your responsibility to build the sport as a champion. You got to be out promoting and telling people about it, getting it known, getting out of your comfort zone and bothering people about it. It's kind of what it comes down to sometimes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I got a couple funny questions that they asked me. Have you ever had the taste slapped out of your mouth?
Ooh. No, because I love food and I love cooking, and that's usually my go-to. Right after my match, I'm hunting down the room where all the food is for the staff. I'm like, let me get a Jimmy John's half a sub and whatever they got in there. I'm trying to rate it all. And then obviously celebration dinner is always nice.
All right, and the second silly question is, have you been slapped silly?
Yes, my very first match, I was definitely 100% slapped silly. I like to call it time traveling because I was definitely knocked out on my feet, and the fog lifted a half hour after I was already backstage, and I got paid, saw the medical team cleared, signed my name and everything, took a picture with Dana and Jimmy, and that was, right after that that's why I say the fog cleared. That was slap silly half hour. I lost my whole life right there.
Oh no, I believe it, man. No, do you have, so what do you think? What do you think is, like, you don't know when your next fight is, but like, what do you think the next thing would be? Like, do you think that there's a possibility of doing another weight class if the welterweight does not work out in your favor?
I've been thinking, and it's been mentioned before on other platforms, that maybe a super fight between two belt holders could happen. And me and Robert have called out each other plenty of times already. He walks around at somewhere near 170. I can get down to 170, no problem. I say let's do some kind of BMF sort of title against, it's kind of hard because of the weight classes. You kind of got to be in the same kind of weight class category, right, and then meet in the middle. But I think that would be really cool to have two undefeated guys go at it for, a BMF sort of title in POWERSLAP.
Yeah. Now, POWERSLAP events are only happening like every month or a couple of months now. Do you feel like that is a good strategy? Because I feel like that the UFC has become a little bit saturated now, and quite frankly, it's got its popularity, obviously, but I feel like it's not the talk of the town anymore because of the fact that it's on all the time.
Do you think I would have to say the roster is pretty big for UFC, and they have fights every week, whether it be a fight night or a UFC event or, an Apex event. It's, they have the volume that they have to contend with. And then the scheduling, they're so far scheduled in advance that, they have these fights that may fall out and they got to replace people right away. So they have people on deck ready for that all the time. They're prepared. Sure. It's just, such a juggernaut of a show that, it's hard to even compare it to anything else. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, man. No, it's just that the way I see it is that the sport. Okay, I started watching UFC in 1999. Okay, Shamrock versus Tito Ortiz. It was it was a spectacle back then. I was just a kid, but it was a spectacle. It was like my sport. Same way I'm looking at POWERSLAP now. It's like it's my sport. I watch. You may watch football, basketball, baseball, other sports like that, but you had your sport that made you who you are. And that's the one thing I worry about with POWERSLAP is if they feature it too much, then it will become more like a sport than a spectacle. And this is a spectacle right now. And spectacles, when they first come out, are always extremely like the talk of the town. Have you seen this sort of thing?
It is like that. And, the people that take it seriously and know that it is a sport at the end of the day, the ones that are really truly trying to compete and be champions, you can tell that, those people have a different attitude. There is people that are just there for the spectacle and to be a part of the show, and that's fine too. We need that. We need people that are willing to step up there and, still compete. But at the end of the day, that there's certain people that are just putting more effort in and they're going to be more successful.
Right. I mean, you're going to have, it's just like anything else, you don't want it to be overrun by, kind of, Karen soccer moms and their husbands sort of thing. But at the same time, that's part of growth, Yeah,
100%. And that's the reason why they had went out in this last few training camps, got some professional wrestlers, and, they showed out really great after having a training camp and coming out and having their first match at POWERSLAP 13. A lot of them, the one Stunt Marshall, his knockout that Ronda Rousey was in the crowd for, it's over 500 million views now already. This dude is blowing. He can't go anywhere without being, I've seen that guy. Everybody knows who he is now. It's crazy.
I know it.
So it just takes that one moment for anybody to maybe have that chance to blow up, you know?
Absolutely. And it's just, and I'm loving it. I mean, and guys like you know, your story that you just told me about yourself a little bit, it's fantastic that, you know, guys like you can make it, you know, you can make it. And, you know, probably didn't imagine, you know, being in your early 30s, starting a new sport. You know,
You know, it's like a crazy Cinderella story, you know, like it's everybody's dream. I should write a book probably. There should be a movie about it and some other stuff going on. You know, it's that kind of level of wow to me. Anyways, that's how I think about it. Like to me, it just blows my mind every day.
oh, absolutely. I mean, do you have any hobbies outside of this?
Oh yeah, right here.
What is that? What are we talking
This
about?
is a kendama, Japanese wooden skill toy. So you got, you can do different cups. You can juggle it around. It's got a spike in a hole. Oh, there's all kinds of different tricks. If you go on my Instagram, that's what I used to do before I kind of got into POWERSLAP, was post videos and playing this and being a part of this community. Pretty awesome.
Dude, if I feel like I can do it, I'll actually buy one and give you a shout out on it. But you know,
hey, there's tons of companies, do some research, see if you can find one you like. There's different designs and you might be able to, join the community and build some cool relationships. It's really, really fun. Everyone's really supportive and it's like a brotherhood. And that's what I got out of POWERSLAP, is kind of like a brotherhood sense. And I love it.
Oh, I believe it. So have any celebrities kind of acknowledged your presence?
Last week, after my match, we're sitting in the hotel room. It was probably midnight. My manager calls up. He's like, "Hey man, what are you doing right now?" I said, "Oh, we just got back to the hotel." He said, "I sent an Uber your way. It's going to be there in 2 minutes. Grab both of your belts. We're about to go to Encore Beach Club and you're going to go on the DJ booth with DJ Diesel and hang out with your belts and put your belt around him and whatnot." So like something like that, spur of the moment, was, obviously it's never happened in my life before. It was pretty awesome. But, to go and do that, and then after the event was Live nightclub. That was before we went to the Encore Beach Club. There was a big celebration. People had signs, and my picture was up on the big wall. It was just a cool celebration to be a part of, something so big, and I've never had that recognition before in my life for something cool.
Oh, that's fantastic, man. I'm happy for you. I really am, man. I'm telling you. Well, you know what? We can wrap this up. And I just want to say before we wrap it up, I want to do this again soon. Or, maybe I want to do this again, man. It's been a pleasure. And I am happy to have talked to you. I'm an admirer of the sport and I'm an admirer of yours. I appreciate you having me. And let's keep in touch.
Definitely, man. After New Orleans, like I said, this is going to be a whole brand new experience coaching in New Orleans. I think it's going to be really great, and I'll definitely be ready to reflect on it. So we'll be in touch, and we'll have me on again.
Definitely, man. And you got anything you want to say before I let you go?
And if anyone wants to follow along the journey, Babyface POWERSLAP on Instagram, Anthony Blackburn on Facebook, and appreciate the support. Thanks for having me on, Hank, and we'll see y'all at POWERSLAP 14.
Thank you, my man. It's such a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Hank Russell Invitation. I've had Anthony Babyface Blackburn on, and it's been nothing but a fun time, ladies and gentlemen, and I can't say no more. Until next time, you guys have a pleasant evening.
Do-do-do-do.